The following is being presented by EA Gamechangers. Hi guys, Samantha here. Welcome back to my channel and another look at the newest stuff pack. Not like a look, but like a speed build using the new stuff pack, Teeny Living Stuff. I don't know, I keep saying teeny, tiny, whatever. Anyway, I just want to remind you guys that I did receive an early access code compliments of EA Gamechangers. So thank you so much to EA for allowing me the opportunity to get this pack in advance so I can kind of show you guys some of the goodies in it. And I have to say there is definitely some goodies in this pack and I was fully inspired, do you hear me, to build. And it's not very often I get a pack and I'm just like, ooh, I got to build with this. But this is definitely one that inspired me to do so. So we're starting off with what's called a micro home, and the requirements for this one is 32 tiles. And I explained in the build by mode video that, and if you guys haven't seen that, you got to go back and check those out. But anyway, the 32 tiles is basically a 1x1 grid of your lot. So basically 32 blocks on your lot. These blocks also include your second floor, your basement, and your deck or your patio. So if by chance you have 2 stories, then you would have to split 32 by 32, which means it'd be like 16 by 16 times 2, like one on top of each other. Anyway, you'd be surprised what you can do with 32 tiles and what you're very limited to do with 32 tiles. But I enjoyed the challenge nonetheless, that I ended up making 3 different builds with the stuff pack for the 3 different tiers of the tiny home, which is like micro, I think is 30, well, micro is 32, then there's tiny, which is 64, and then small, which is 100. I ended up doing 3 different builds, doing different little things you could do, aspects. But honestly, y'all, you would think, okay, this is a small pack, you're limited to like a small amount of space. But truth be told, it's a lot you could do with it, which is kind of crazy to me. I am like, most of my houses I think I build most times are, I don't know, I would think that they're on the larger side. I always try to make houses that are more so for families. And so these were more centered, or at least the ones like this one in particular was more centered on having just like one single person living in here. And originally I was going to make it like a little sleek bachelor pad. Unfortunately, I tried my hardest to play around with color. Thankfully, I do that on one of the builds, so don't fret on that one. But I ended up getting stuck with this monochromatic type palette, I guess you could say, for the house. But I love how it came out. But I was a little bit like, Samantha, you got to break the mold. You got to get out of just doing like the same colors. Like you always do, like the neutrals, you always do like the black and whites. But I do like how this one came out. It came out really, really nicely. But anyway, so one thing I will say about the pack so far, like I said, there's like a lot of stuff you could do with it. Kind of like stretches. It gives you an opportunity to kind of play around with doing something different, you know. And that's one thing I can say I like when we get new packs with The Sims, is that if it inspires you to do something different that you wouldn't otherwise do, then that's pretty cool. It just gives you an opportunity to be a little bit more creative with your builds. And I would love to see what people are going to do with it if it's like a starter home and they have to eventually have a family in it. Like the way this house is set up, it could eventually be for a married couple or someone that's cohabitating in a house together. But for the most part, I don't really see, like, maybe once the baby is born, you could kind of stick a bassinet. I don't know. I can't see like a huge, like maybe like the starter of a family. But then, you know, once the baby starts moving around as a toddler and you need all this stuff for him, you would probably have to move. But I do like it. I will say one thing. I was a little bit, and I think I did say this in the build by mode video. I was a little bit, I'm not going to say disappointed, but just kind of like scratching my head about the fact that we only got one door. And we, oh, here I am playing around different colors on the wallpaper. That's so funny. Anyway, I was trying different stuff, y'all. I was like, let me at least try to break up some of this monotony, doing something fun. I was trying different swatches, y'all, but I kept getting drawn back to that black and white. It's crazy. Anyway, I was a little bit, I guess, perturbed at the fact that they only gave us one door. I personally, and I think you'll see me struggle like later on, I really wanted to use the new door. It's a really nice door. I love all the swatches. I love the way it looks. Aesthetically, it looks really good with this particular build. And I just was really disappointed when it was time for me to do windows that I couldn't find any that kind of cohesively went with it. So that was a little bit bothersome because it feels like this pack is a builder's pack. I mean, even though the cast stuff is really nice, I feel like this is like a dream builder pack, especially if you're into like efficiently using your space and maybe dealing within a budget with your Sims, and you want to have them have everything, but they start off small. So it's for that reason, this is kind of like, okay, I would have rathered have like, I mean, I didn't have to be like, like 5 or 6 windows, but one good window, possibly with it, I think would have been really, really nice. So I was a little bit, I think I spent a lot of time on the exterior just trying to make it not look like a box, y'all. Honestly, it looks like a box. I do like how it looks though, don't get me wrong, but after I was finished with it, I was like, I probably could have played around with the shape a little bit. It doesn't matter what the shape is as long as it's just 32 cubes or 32 squares. So I could have played around with the shape a little bit, but I didn't. And that's probably the only regret I have with this build. But otherwise, I think the inside is absolutely beautiful. I love how it came out, but it's like a regular square house, but you're dealing with 32 tiles. So you kind of got to work with what you got with how you got it. But anyway, so yeah, that was probably the only, this is me trying to figure out a way I could do something different to make it look anything other than a rectangle. I said box, but it's more so like a rectangle. But anyway, so I think that was my only complaint, sort of, is like I would have liked a window to go with it. I'm not sure why they didn't think like, oh, this is going to be good for builders and not give us a window. Wallpaper, I will say one thing, in the process of me, like, especially working on this one and the next one for sure, I was able to make a lot of different wall colors and stuff. I mean, of course, if you got black and white, whatever, it is what it is. But I just thought it'd be fun, especially with all the geometric shapes and the playful colors and everything, if they could have gave us like some wallpaper or paint swatches or whatever to kind of go with it. But that to me wasn't even that big of a deal. It was just the fact that they didn't give us a window. But I'm not going to complain about it. Unfortunately, this is just like a little small rant. I feel like every time I do one of these videos, people say I'm like way too critical. And I'm just like, I feel like I could always like just give them a pass just for the sake of, oh, I'm making a video, so let me just go easy. But truth of the matter is, I want to be completely honest with you guys and tell you how I'm feeling, because that might make or break you getting the pack yourself. And with me having the ability to give you guys a first look, I want you to be able to make a decision, a good decision. Of course, not everybody's going to think the same way I think. Something that bothers me might not bother you, but what if it does? And what if that's an issue? Like, you'll be like, well, I don't want to get it now because of that reason. Then that's pretty much what I want to provide to you guys. So I want to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, but I feel like lately I have to like censor myself a little bit more, because man, you guys will go at me in not you guys, some people, I'm not going to say you guys, like I'm generalizing right now, but a lot of people will go at me in the comment box, and I'm just like, wow, okay, like I guess I could be like the other ones out there that just kind of be like, everything is awesome, like the Lego song, but it's not a lot of times. And that is definitely one thing that I was kind of like, what? So to me, for that reason, it doesn't feel like a complete pack. I do love everything that we got, but it doesn't feel like a complete pack. And realistically, I know I read on Twitter, and this is going to be like another little small rant, and I promise y'all I'm done. I read on Twitter that a lot of people were like, is this just like another My First Pet stuff? Like, this is a continuation of University. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, even though everything is really, really nice, a lot of this stuff could have been put in University. You're living in a dorm, you're living with a small space, whatever. A lot of this stuff could have been put in University. So I'm not sure if these were things that they always thought about putting out, or were these like cutting room floor ideas, and they were like, well, you know what, these are really nice, we don't want to throw them out, let's make a pack with it. And then the fact that we didn't really get like a heads up on it. Like, we always get heads up on packs. We might not get heads up on updates, but we always get heads up on packs. Like, for the last couple packs, we knew, like, especially when we had Island Living, Moschino, and what was the other one we had? We had 3 that they had pretty much mapped out for the months ahead. They were like, you got this, Magic, was it Roman Magic? Yeah, you got this coming up, this coming up, this coming up. And we knew like months in advance that we had 3 packs back to back to back coming out. And then when Island Living came out, of course, we had the heads up on that one. But for this one, not to even have the heads up, and then it's just like, we get it, or at least I'm getting it, I'm saying, and I'm looking at it like, wow, this stuff is really nice. Why didn't they give us the heads up on it? And then the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm like, wait a minute, some of this stuff could have been with University. Especially the twin beds, been perfect. The Murphy bed, if you're like studio apartment living, or like in some situations, there are plenty of student housings that are just like studios. As a matter of fact, I went to a school that had, it would be like outside campus housing, but it would still be affiliated with the campus, and they were studios. These would have been perfect, like the stuff to just maximize the space for a student in a studio, in a 32 by 32 or something even smaller if you want to play around with it. But either way, that's neither here nor there. It's that's just my personal opinion, and you guys can kind of like chime in the comment box if you agree or disagree. But you know, I've talked 10 minutes about the good, the bad, the ugly with this pack. Let's talk about this build that I'm doing. So right now I'm working on the kitchen. Again, I kind of wanted to keep everything open and airy, but I also wanted to make it seem like there was plenty of storage, so it wasn't like the sim living here was limited because they're living on a 32 by 32. You know, you're thinking like, oh, okay, they're going to need places to put like their spices, like their knives, you know, their cookware, you know, stuff like that. And I wanted to actually give them, because the build that they actually gave us with the pack, it had a kitchen, and the kitchen was like a counter with a microwave on it and the refrigerator. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I feel like that would have been so easy just to slap a, hey, you're going to be microwave cooking for the rest of your life. No, I want a sim to actually be able to cook in here and actually like do some stuff. And like I was saying before, I kind of thought this would be like a really sleek bachelor pad. This would be like, in my ideal sim for this pack, would be like a bachelor that kind of doesn't, he probably would rather spend his, and I don't know why when you think of black and white monochromatic you think about bachelor, but I do. I don't know why, but like a sexy bachelor type situation. But he probably doesn't want to spend a lot of money on his housing. Maybe he has like a Lamborghini and he likes to go out to San Myshuno and you know, buy rounds of drinks, and maybe every night he brings a different girl home, and the girl might come home and be like, what? You live in this little place? But he'll be the type that be like, I'd rather spend my money on the finer things and enjoying life rather than the space that I live. So for that reason, I tried to keep this build under the starting money that you would normally get for a sim. I think it ended up rounding out to be like about 19,000, probably a couple of dollars over 19,000 simoleons. So I was trying to keep it within the range. Like, as soon as your sim gets out of cast, they should be able to afford this. If for some reason something like, well, depending upon the lot, this one's on the 20 by 15 lot in Newcrest. So I'm sure depending upon the lot you place it on, it might vary. But this particular one ended up being like about 19,600, think, or 19,900. It was under 20,000 for sure. And I felt like even with a 32 by 32, you'll see when I'm building it, there was plenty of times I went way over the 20 that I wanted to stay within. So I had to go back and kind of edit and delete stuff. So even with a 32 by 32, you could still pretty much ball out. And it's funny because the whole time I was building, I was like, man, this is a little big build. This is a little big build. Like, I crammed a lot of stuff in this little small build. So I will tell you one thing. I struggled so much with the bathroom. I wanted to do a full size shower. For me personally, I like having the option of a shower and a tub, especially because I don't know what the sim's going to be like that lives here. They might end up having a toddler, which I don't know where they would put said toddler, or they might end up getting a pet and they have to give the pet a bath. And in that case, you will need a tub. So I really wanted to put a tub in there, but ended up being I got rid of the tub because of the money. But trying to situate the tub, like space allowment, or allotment, I guess you could say, and the toilet and the shower and the sink was an issue. And I did find out when I play tested this lot, even though I got the green okay, and I didn't have move objects on. I tried my hardest. If I had to have move objects on, if I was like cluttering things, but I would cut it off when I was placing things that would affect the pathways, for the reason of I didn't want it to be an issue later on with my sim not being able to get where they needed to go, right? So long story short, I ended up play testing it, and even though I had the green go ahead in some of those sections, they still acted like they couldn't get to it. So I'm not sure if that's a glitch, or because it felt like, and you guys can tell me when you get this pack too, it felt like some things that we normally wouldn't have been able to get away with, now we're able to get away with. Like, maybe with the update, they kind of made the requirements for the space to be a little bit more forgiving. It felt like that because I was like, I shouldn't be able to put a chair here, and I was able to put a chair there. And then, especially with that little walkway going towards the bathroom, I got 2 chairs there. And I was like, I shouldn't be able to do this because the sim will literally have to shimmy in between the chair and the cabinet in the kitchen. And thankfully, when I tested it, I ended up using a female sim, but she was able to get in between there, which is like the craziest thing. So I don't know if they did something with the update where it made it more feasible for you to do that or what the situation was. But anyway, here I am out here doing the exterior, and I was again trying to keep it so the exterior is not as pretty as it probably could be, but I was trying to keep it under 20,000. And you guys know you could go crazy with landscaping and blow 7,000 to 10,000 simoleons on your budget just landscaping, because you'll want to do flowers and bushes and trees and maybe some chairs out there, maybe a fountain, rocks. You got pavement, you know, all sorts of stuff. So I was just like, keep it simple, Samantha, so you can keep it under. But of course, if you download this lot, which it will be on the gallery as soon as I'm able to put it on the gallery. I don't know if we'll be able to put it on today or when the pack is out for everybody. But either way, you know, I wanted to, you can always add your own bushes and trees and stuff like that, you know, just to kind of spruce up a little bit. Or, you know, this might be a good little starter for a sim that wants to garden and maybe, you know, just focus on having like a huge garden in their yard. Now I thought about doing like a rock barrier to just make it look a little bit neater. I was just like, Samantha, this needs something more than this little bland outside thing. But I tried, y'all. I tried. I think in the end, it's a really cute, quaint home, and it's got like on the outside, you're just like, oh, okay, this is what it looks like. But then when you go inside, I feel like there's like a lot going on. Like I said, I think it's a really nice little big build. It's a little big build. It's got a lot going on. So I do like how it came out. So anyway, I think I'm getting towards the end of the build here, just putting a light and stuff on the outside. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I apologize if I ranted too much in the beginning, but I do want to just give you guys like my opinion about the pack. And like I said, it is a really good stuff pack. There's some really good stuff in there. Like I said before, there's a little bit that feels like it's lacking, like with the windows. As you guys can kind of see, those windows don't really go. And of course, this is me changing out the the tub when I realized that I couldn't afford it. I think I ended up going back to the shower. But as you guys can see, I'm like struggling to find windows. Nobody wants to put those huge, big old windows. And I must have a lot of CC windows in my game, because I swear I don't ever struggle that much to put windows in my builds. And I struggled like crazy. But I wanted to make sure there was a lot of light, you know, a lot of natural light coming through there. And me trying to find windows that went nice with that door. I think these windows ended up being from Moschino stuff pack. I'm almost positive. Don't quote me on that though, but I think those windows ended up being from that, which are like the only really sleek, kind of plain modern-y windows you could kind of find in the game. And I think I ended up using those. Anyway, so I'm just putting some finishing touches on the lot, some mats and stuff like that. Like I said, I was able to keep it under 20,000. And at the end of the video, I got a couple footage of my sim just kind of like utilizing the space. You can kind of see like the screen. I was going to do screenshots, but I thought it'd be funner to do like some live action stuff. Just trying a little bit things differently. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go so you can see that. Hopefully you enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe. I am hoping to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. I don't know. I just thought it was a cool little sounding goal. Like 20 in 2020, like go for it. Anyway, don't forget to thumbs up the video. I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment and let me know what you guys think about the build or what you're looking forward to, or if you like this lot or any suggestions or anything like that, or if you're used to building super small. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that as well. And I will see you guys in the next build. Don't forget, I have 3 builds total, so there'll be 2 more after this. The next one will be the tiny home build, which is a 64 by 64, which is by far probably one of my most favorite builds I've ever built ever. That says a lot. Wait till you guys see it. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.